Hey, so I'm just gonna remind everyone that Christian used to be an insult because in Aramaic it's like slang for like a moron, right? And then later on, Puritan was like an insult because they wanted to be pure, which is kind of like a strange way to insult someone. And then, recently it was fundamentalist, but the thing is like, do you want to have a plumber who has bad fundamentals? Right? Or if you're playing basketball, do you want to have bad fundamentals, like you don't know how to dribble, right? And then now they call you a legalist, right? If you keep God's commandments. And there are people who are actually legalistic and just stupid, like spiritually neutered and emotionally stunted. But if it's an insult to be called a legalist because you obey God's law, then just kind of accept to be like, yeah, I obey God. Like, yeah, I obey God's law. That's what I do. Because it's like all of the insults that are meant to like belittle Christians, like they just kind of expose the person who is using the insult. Because like for Christian meaning moron in Aramaic or whatever, it's like the Bible says that like the wisdom of the world is foolishness to God, and by its wisdom it didn't know God, right? And then Puritan is like an insult because they're trying to be pure, but it's like by definition you're saying you're not pure or impure. And then fundamentalist, you're saying that like you don't understand the basics. If fundamentalist is an insult to you, then you're saying you don't have good fundamentals. And then if you think legalism is an insult, right, in the context of it actually being like towards someone who just keeps the commandments and isn't like a Pharisee, then what you're saying is like you're antinomian, like you think Jesus did away with the law, and then everything is just subjective to like whatever influencer preacher you think defines sin, when the Bible only gives one definition for sin, and that's 1 John 3:4, sin is transgression of the law. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead to church now. God bless. Bye.